In today's video, I'm going to share with you the way to build instant, unyielding trust with a buyer in the first interaction that I was taught by a gray market Rolex dealer in 2017, which is when I bought this watch, the Daytona Panda, to celebrate the birth of my son. But before we get into that, if you are currently struggling with getting people to trust you, getting prospects to buy from you, getting all sorts of weird questions about, well, what about that thing? What about this thing? I'm not quite sure I'm there yet. All the objections under the sun that imply that they don't implicitly trust you, this video is for you. Stick around for the next 5 minutes while I break it down for you. So last night, I had the pleasure of speaking to a group of gentlemen who are all entrepreneurs. Shout out to Roberto for inviting me to his community. And one of the people there who works in the refurbishment industry asked me a question. He said, yeah, in my industry, everyone's hiding the dings and the dents in the car and the sofa and this, that, and the other. How do I get people to buy from me and trust me that I've done a good job? And this reminded me of the story that I'm about to tell you. So in 2017, when I was in Dubai with my watch dealer, this guy was my favorite watch dealer. When I bought this particular watch from him, he told me, Yaya, there's a scratch on the watch. For those of you who aren't familiar with the luxury watch world, scratches mean a lot. And so his technician called me. His name was Abdullah, I think. And he said, yeah, there's a scratch on the watch. I was like, where? He said, on the glass. And he showed me the scratch under like a special microscope they had. And he's like, it's there. I recommend you get it polished. This could have hurt his sale because they were selling me this watch. This watch had a wait list of more than 10 years. And so I paid premium price to get the watch. That's what the gray market is for. And I was like, Abdullah, why are you telling me this? Like, don't you think you can lose the sale? And he said, it doesn't matter to me whether I lose the sale or not, but what matters to me is, if one day you buy from me and you find out there's a scratch and you go and tell other people that, you bought from me and there was this one scratch that I didn't inform you about. And so that's more important to me than making the sale. Now, obviously, Abdullah is a man of high standards and high integrity, but what did this imply from a business transaction point of view? From that day onwards, I was sold. Every single watch I bought, it didn't matter where in the world I bought it from. I fly to Dubai, I'd show him the watch and be like, dude, what do you think about this? Eventually, I started only buying from them. And eventually, I would have Abdullah review the watch before he gave it to me so he could give me a full-fledged breakdown detail of what was wrong, if anything, with the watch. And his word to me became gospel. The moment he said, buy this is good, this is great value, it's going to be useful, I'd buy it. And so the story essentially translated into not just a man, overly showcasing and displaying and exhibiting his values, because in the watch market, it's a pretty shady market, especially for Rolex and AP. And it's not the most trusted industry in the world. And an industry like that, where people are trying to hide things, one man went against the grain. And he went against and instead of hiding everything, he overtly informed me about it, something that I didn't even know. This stuck with me forever. So last night, when this guy in the refurbishment industry said, yeah, what do I do? It's not really an industry where we're supposed to, where everyone's trying to make it look like they're the best. I was like, what you should do is film content of you fixing the dents, because his question was about content, like how do I showcase one? I said, make content, and every time you get someone, tell them overtly, explicitly to their face which of the dents and the dings you were able to fix and which remain. Now, this guy obviously didn't really buy it. He wasn't sold. And so I had to give him the philosophy of how human beings trust transactional behavior. And so I gave him the example of back when I worked in Pfizer and companies would have audits, the auditors would sit with the finance people and they'd arrive at a conclusion of a report whereby they would agree on certain mistakes they would show in the report. Because sending a report which is A++, everything is spick and span, is humanly impossible. And so I explained to this guy that human nature tends to trust mistakes more than they tend to trust overly perfect, better than life, larger than life. And so this ties into, for example, my bold brand blueprint. I am generally considered an overt person. I have no qualms about telling people the way things are, including clients. I don't promise my clients, a walk through the park and a bed of roses. I tell them reality and they value me for it. And so I told this guy, what is something you can do in your market that doesn't necessarily need to go against the grain, but everyone else is afraid to do, because that'll position you as the authority. That'll position you as the most trustworthy person to buy from in that market. And this is an industry-changing approach. And the more I use this, at least in my stuff, right? For the last 2 years, people have bought from me not because of my offer. People have bought from me not because I had a fancy, I had lots of case studies and testimonials. I literally asked people in my container, did you watch my case studies? 90% of them, nope. We didn't. So as much as I'd like to think that my results are amazing, something else that they buy, and they told me it's trust. We trust you because you tend to say things like it is. Now, I'm not saying you need to be arrogant or you need to be like me and you need to overtly shove things in people's faces. That's just my personality and who I happen to be. But look in your industry. If you're like everybody else, you don't stand out. So what sets you apart and what sets your offer apart? What can set you apart is being overtly transparent about something in your industry that everybody else wants to hide. So look in your industry, look at the thing that everyone else, the issue that other people are skirting around, and address it head on. I like to think of it as calling out the elephant in the room. It's a very famous and a very widely used sales tactic where you spell out the obvious instead of you and the prospect both tippy-toeing around, oh, well, you think about it. No, it'll change and revolutionize not just your business like it did mine and my clients. It'll change and revolutionize how you think because you are no longer going to be afraid of telling people the truth about your subject matter expertise. So his subject matter expertise was in repairing the dings and the dents, but he wanted to hide it. I was like, dude, that's content. Show people how you repair it. So people realize the amount of effort it goes into fixing what you do and the amount of craftsmanship and expertise and subject matter knowledge that you have, which makes you an automatic expert. That's where authority is established. I encourage you to think about your industry, the things that everybody around you is hiding, how you feel about it, and then think about overtly making it part of your offer in the first interaction. I hope this helps. As always, I'm out of here. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.